Okay, so here we go with the functions. Now, what is the actual meaning of the functions? Let me tell you first of all. I believe the system is little slow with this. Yeah. So you can see with the normal definition that function helps break our program into smaller and modular chunks. Now, what does this mean? For example, you have, I told you, functions are basically comes under the procedural language of programming, where we will follow some procedures. Like if we have something like we need to take an input from the user, then use that input for some means process that input and give an output. So there are three steps. If we write everything in the program, then what happens? It may get a little clumsy. We are getting the input in the same program. We are giving the processing the input in the same program, and we are just giving the output in the same program. Okay, in the same block itself. So what will happen if there is some issues? Then it will be very difficult to find or debug that issue, because you won't be able to understand properly after what line the execution has been broken, or we are not getting our output accordingly what. So for this reason, we use functions, and uh, enhanced version of functions and structured way of function of implementation is class and object. So we won't go for class and object now, but we will go for functions. So you understood this definition. Now, what is the how to define a function? We used to define a function using def. Now, in C, C++, you are from that background. If then what happens in C, C++, we have to write the definition, that is what type of data is going to come. If it is a null type of data, means any type of data can come and go, then we used to have void. But in void, we cannot return the data. Okay, if it is an integer type of data that is coming on, we need to use int. Then we have float, then we have char. So these are the data types of the functions that as per the data we used to do that if we want to return it. Now over here in Python, we don't have to define any of the types, because automatically Python is a means it will define, as it's a dynamic language, so it will define automatically the type of the data that is coming. So there is no challenge in defining the type. So we will directly write def and then the function name, and inside it the parameters that are the data if you are sending some data from the main function, you can say main programming part, if you're sending some data. And then as per the indentation rule, we'll just provide an indentation so that it can denote that it is inside the function block, and we'll write our codes. So let us do it. So here we are, and we are exactly at day 3. So day 3.py, this is done. Now we are going to run of functions. Now syntax. The first is syntax. So syntax we write like this: def, and then this is the way how we write. Now the function name, any name you want to write, any name that you want to write, and then the braces. This braces actually denotes that it is a function. Okay, whenever we use a braces are closing and opening brace, that means it is denoting that the name before it is a function used. And then a colon, over here we don't use curly braces, we use colons. You have seen in if, else, anything, we use colons. Now there's an indentation, by default it is taking, and then we'll write whatever we want. For example, we're gonna print hello. We're gonna print hello. So this function, maybe let me write the name, print hello. I have defined the name of the function, print underscore hello, and now the function has been defined, and the work of the function is to print hello. That's it. So whenever I will call this function, the number of times I will call it, it will print hello. This is the very another big thing that was function. Now if you want to write a big lines, for example, you're gonna write this hello 5 times. Okay, so I have written this hello 5 times. Now if you're going to write in the normal programming that you're going to print 15 times this hello, either you're going to use for loop, or else what you're going to use, you're going to write 15 times this hello directly over here, but it will take a longer execution of time. But if you over here, if you want to write it 15 times, it's very easy. I will call the function hello like this. This is the way how to call the function hello outside of the in the main block, and I'll just call the function hello thrice. Print hello, and then again print hello. Sorry, print hello. I will call the function thrice. So every time I call it, it will call or print all these 5 values. Then again, it will go to the next call and will again print all these 5 values. Then again, it will go to the next call and again print all these 5 values. So you can see the execution and the lines of codes have become so simpler if you are using functions for the same thing. So now let me execute the code and let me show you. Okay, we have missed something. We need this over here. Yeah, now just go. Okay, we have executed this, and you can see we have got 15 times hello. If you write only once, if you want to execute only once, you will print this once. I will just clear this, and I will just execute this code. You will get only 5 times hello. So this is how the function works. This is the syntax of the function call. This is known as calling a function, or else you can say function call. Function call, and this is known as function definition. This is a calling a function, and this is function definition. This is how functions work over here. Now, coming into types of the functions. Now, types of functions used. Now, you don't need to remember these types of functions used, because when you will be doing it practically, you will get it to know what are the function types you use. Okay. So the first type, no parameter, no return. So the first type of function is no parameter, no return, which we have already discussed. You can see we haven't sent any parameter over here, and we have not received any parameter over here, and we have not returned any value from here. So this is what no parameter, no return type function is. We'll define it once again. Now the second is with parameter, no return. Okay. Now the third is no parameter, with return. And the fourth is with parameter, with return. It is the types are almost similar to the types that we have in normal C, C++, Java programming languages, because these function types doesn't change much. Only syntax changes. So now we'll discuss the first type first. No parameter, no return. Now let us give a question to us that we're gonna make a question in 4 different patterns, and the question may be we're gonna make a function of sum, create a function to add 2 numbers. Okay. Now this is a function to add 2 numbers. If you want to take a user input, you can take user input, and no, I will not take the user input over here because there is an explanation one. So let me create the function name. Like we create the name as sum, because we are adding the numbers. I'm just creating the sum, and I'm just keeping it as it is. And I will be calling this function over here, sum. This is how I'm calling this function directly over here. I'm calling sum over here. So what is this? We have to add two numbers, and we have the property of no parameter, no return. That means we cannot send any parameter from this calling function, and we cannot return anything from to this calling function. Okay. So whatever we need to do, we need to do over here. So here only we'll define two values, a equals to 8 and b equals to 9. So we have defined two values, and after that we'll print it. Not print, we'll add it. Let it be s. So s equals to a plus b. Now after defining this, we'll just print it. Print sum equals to, and then a comma, then s. So this is how we're going to do this. We have directly called the sum function over here, and everything that we're going to do is inside the sum function, because we don't want to send any values to this function, and we don't want to return any values from this function. So everything what we need to do is over here only. Okay. So what over here you can see, just let me execute this code. Let me just comment this line, and now we'll execute this code once again. You are getting sum equals to 17. You can see over here. So 8 plus 9 is 17, and the output is exactly same that we wanted. Now we will just go for the second option. We will just copy this part. Okay, we will go for the second one, and that is with parameter no return. I will just paste this over here and comment this from here. So this is done. Now, what does this sense with parameter no return is that we want to send some parameters over here. So let us take this A and B input over here. Let us declare in the main block the values of A and B. Remember, you don't have any indentation, or else it will be considered inside the sum block. Okay, inside the function block. Now we have declared two values, A equals to 8 and B equals to 9, and these are the global values. Okay, now we are just calling sum, and inside calling sum will pass on the parameters A comma B. Now I have passed A comma B. That means I'm passing the value of A and value of B to the sum function. Now sum will receive somewhere. So if you want to change the variable name, that is also correct. No issue with it. If you're writing C comma D, that means the value of A will be stored in C and value of B will be stored in D. Now C plus D if you're doing. So the sum has been stored in S, the C plus D, the C will be considered over here and the D will be considered from here. Okay. Now if you're doing S equals to C plus D, then what will happen? We want to print the value. Now there is no return. So we won't return anything to this sum function right over here. So what we're going to do, we're going to just print the value right over here, sum equals to S. Okay. So let us execute this code and let us see that if the output is the same, and the output is exactly the same. You can see the output. The output is exactly the same. So till now we have studied two methods. So do you have any queries for these two methods? Just let me know in the comment section if you have any queries for these two methods. Okay, I got a reply. There's okay, so you're clear with this. Now we'll move to the next query, next section, that is no parameter with return. Now let me comment this part. So it's no parameter with return. Okay, so I will just copy this. Okay. So what over here we'll do, we will send no parameters. That means we don't want to send any parameter. Okay. But we want for some return. So what we're going to do, we're going to assign the values right inside the function only, because as we have done that, we have no parameters to send. So the value should be assigned inside this function only. And now this should be A and this should be B. So you can see over here that we have assigned the value over here. Now we have taken the sum of A plus B. Now we wanted to print this. Now as we are using with return, so we need to return something. So over here we'll return the value of the sum in this function. Return S. This is the way how we return. Now it will go and return this, and this contains certain value. Now we need to store this value somewhere. So let us take S over here. Now you don't be confused with this S and this S. When I will be telling you the global and local variables, how to use the local variables and how to use the global variables, at that time I will tell you why these two are different. These two S are totally different from each other, and they have no link in between each other. Now I've returned a value over here, and this value has been stored in S, and now we'll just print the statement of S right over here, and you will find that we will get the same value, same output as we were getting. Okay, I've written only S. I need to write sum equals to comma S. Now this is well and good, and you will get sum equals to 17. You can see over here. So this is how we just go for the third type. You can see the same question can be treated in any type of methods of the four out of the four methods, but as per the requirement, we just choose the method. Wherever the requirements, as per the requirements, we just go for the methods. So now you will go for the fourth method, that is with parameter with return. So this is our fourth method, and we'll just copy this part and comment it, and we'll just paste it over here. So over here, what we require, we need to send the parameter also, and we need to return the parameter. Now, let me tell you that this is the most widely used method that we always use to use functions. We always try to send some value, and we always return some value from the function. So this is the most widely used method. Now, how to do this? We will, first of all, we'll assign the values. We'll get the values over here. Now, just remember with the indentation, because indentation is very, very important. Now we have defined the value a, b over here. We are sending these values a comma b over here, and we are defining it again in a comma b. Now this a comma b and this a comma b is totally different. This value a will be stored in this a, and this value b will be stored in this b. Okay. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna just take the sum of a plus b, and we will just return s. Now when we return s, there is something that is returned over here, and we're storing it in s over here, and we'll just print sum equals to s. So let us execute this code, and you will be finding that we are getting sum equals to 17 once again. So now let me tell me that, do you have any queries regarding these four methods? Did you understood each and every method properly? Just let me know in the comment section. Okay, I believe you are practicing still. Okay, understood. Amit understood these things. Very good, Amit. So the fourth method again. Okay, Shita. See, over here, what we need to do, we need to send some parameter, and we need to return something from the function. Okay. So what we are doing, we are just assigning the parameters over here. We are sending those values right over here and to this function, and these values are just grabbed by A and B over here. You can take any of the variables over here because these variables are totally different than these variables outside this function. Okay, so we are just grabbing it again in A and B, and then we will be using that A and B over here only. So over here we have A plus B. That means we are storing this sum in S, and now we need to use the return also. So we'll just return this, and we'll return it and store it back over here in S, because the sum function is returning something. That means it is having some data. Now I need that data to be stored somewhere, so I'm storing it in S, and then I will be printing that S right over here outside the block. So did you got this, guys? Yes, very good. So this is clear to you. Now, just let me tell you, let me give an example of some question. Let us do some other question. And you can do in any of the methods. Let us see what method maybe it is. So the question is, find the maximum, or else you can say, find the second maximum number. Let us do two questions. First, find the maximum number out of, let it be 10 numbers. Now, how to do this? This is a question now. Now, see, as I told you that after control structure and functions, you will be learning out more than 70% of the Python. So now everything that we're going to do is the implementation, and this week will be something, we'll be starting the implementation of the projects. Till now, whatever you have done the tasks, what tasks were all about, that what we have learned, and we are implementing that as per the requirement. But now from this week, we'll start on the projects. So tomorrow we will be doing our first project, and from day after tomorrow, I will be explaining you the task details that you're going to do. And this time the task is little difficult because you're going to do something, the research work, and then only you can find out how to do that. So it is a little difficult for you to research it, but you have to. So this is what internship is all about. You need to grab things. So now find maximum number out of 10 numbers. Now, first of all, what we require to input the 10 numbers. Now we have two methods. I already told you. Once that you input 10 times, or else you can input, tell the user to input using spaces, and using split will do that. So we'll just tell the user to input in spaces. So I will just make a number over here, number variable, and it will convert to the list as we are using split. So we will tell input, yeah, input, enter number, enter 10 numbers, actually 10 numbers using spaces. I'm telling to use it spaces, or else you can tell commas, because I have to I remember that I haven't explained you how to use commas. So enter 10 numbers using commas, and then I will just do the numbers, whatever I get, I will just dot split it, split. I will just split this, and then when I print this, print number, then I will get the list. Okay. Once I get the list, then what I need to do, I need to because all the numbers will be in the string format. First of all, I need to convert those numbers into integer format. So I will take another blank list, num, and I will just take for I equals to 0, not sorry, it's my mistake. For I in number, and then I will convert it to num dot append, and inside it I will do it uh, int of I. So did you understood the step what I am actually doing? And there's a mistake over here. num equals to this, and everything's fine. Did you understood what I'm actually doing? I'm converting the the string values over here, the string numbers over here, and I'm converting each and every numbers in integer type and storing in the new list type, that is num. So did you understood this now? So if you're gonna print it, you can print this, that I'm gonna print num equals to, and then I will use num. And similarly over here, number equals to number. So if you want to check this, because checking of the codes are very, very important. See, I've got usual to this, that's why I'm not checking it, but it's very mandatory to check your codes step by step, because if you find a mistake at that point, then it is easy to rectify it. But if you don't find it at that point, then it's very difficult to rectify. Now I got a mistake over here. I just saw it, that I wrote over here using commas, but I'm telling the split to split it using spaces. So what I need to do, I need to put a comma in single quotes, which means a character, and the character is comma. Now I'll just execute this code again, and it's telling me to enter 10 numbers using commas: 10, 50, 40, 56, 87, 96. How many numbers are there? Five. Okay, this is the sixth one, seventh one, eighth one, ninth one, and 10th one. Okay, so I'm just putting an enter. You can see when there was a number list, at that time we are getting each and every values in a string. How to know it? Because they're having single quotes in it. And then we have converted it to integer, and all the values are in integer type in num list. Okay, so our first task has been completed, that we have converted our numbers, we have stored our numbers in a list, and now what we need to do, we need to get the maximum number. So now there are two methods. Either you can go with the longer method, that you want to check each and every element and store in the max, like in C, C++, what you need to do in array. Or else what you can do is a very simple method. You can sort it out in ascending order, and then you can put the last element value and print it, that this is the largest number. Because if you sort it out, then the last element value will always be the maximum value in list. So this things become easier. Now these all things, now you can change it to functions. Now how to change it to function, that we can make this as a function over here. Now how to make this as a function, as we are going for the, okay, let me write not the function, sorry, I'm just deviating you in some other way. Let me tell you how to do it first. So we have converted the list, and now what we need to do is to sort it. Now num dot sort, and we have done the sorting part over here. So if I print it now, the values sorted num list equals to, and then a comma, num. So over here we got the sort value, and now we'll print the largest value, print largest value. If you know the number of values that are being over here in the num, the range of the num, if you know it, then it's well and good. Then you can print directly the number, that is, for example, if it is 10, then it will be counting from 0 to 9. You can print directly num of 8. I want the ninth element, right? So I will directly print num of 9, and over here it will print the largest value. So you can see, let us examine this. So it's asking for me the 10 numbers. Let me try if I could copy this so that it saves a lot of time for us. Yeah, I could. And I will just press an enter. And I can see we are not getting the exact value. Num of 9. Okay, let us see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Sorry, guys, I wrote 11 numbers, and that is why I made a counting mistake. And it's giving me 89. Rather, it should give me 96. Okay, so this mistakes could be done by anyone, because no one knows what is the user going to do exactly as per the commands or not as per the commands. So for that reason, what we can do, if you want to find the largest number of anything, then what are you going to do? You can put it like num of len of num, len of num minus 1. I don't know this will work or not. So let me see it because I haven't tested it yet. So let me see if it is working. So I've copied the statements and I will print it and it's working. You can see it's 96. You are getting the last value. Now what I have done over here, inside the index method, I have just taken the length of the num. So now length of the num will always count the actual values from one, from starting from 1. So it will count 11. So that is why for because the positions are starting from 0, so I have done minus 1 over here. So 11 minus 1 is a 10, and the 10th position it will be printing in the num, and we will be getting the largest value. So did you understood this? Just let me know in the comment section. Did you understood this? Yes, very good. Now, how to convert these to the function so that it is easier for us to understand what to do and how to do. Now, we have the same thing over here. Now, we're defining certain functions right over here. So let me shorten this so that we get a little more space. Yeah. So now what we can do, we can take an input. Now, this is all well and good. And then what we can do, we can rather of sending this data right over here, what we could do, we could make a list over here. Means they make a function. Let it be def convert int. Convert int is the name of the function where it is the work of the function to convert all the values to the integer type. And I will just copy this part, cut this part, and paste it over here inside this. And I will just include num of send certain. I need to send the values. I need to call this function over here. Uh, let me do something like this. Let me make this as num so that the error goes off. An indented block. Okay, this is the error. Yeah, this is good. Now what I did, I just did something. I need to just comment these all parts so that it doesn't throw an error. I will do it once again. So our first step is to take an input. So we have taken an input right over here. Then we have printed it, and now we need to convert it. So first of all, we'll just call the function convert underscore int, and this is the name of the function. And I will send the number list over here. So I will send directly the list values over here. This list number will be stored in the num. All the values of the list number will be stored directly in num. And over here, I'm just converting it in num. Okay, or else you just take it as a number over here. Now, number you have taken. Now, what you can do, you can create a num blank list right over here. You have created a blank list num, and you're just appending all the values into the blank list. So this is done. And now what you're going to do, you're going to return that blank list, return that num. Okay, so we have just returned that num. Now the num will be getting returned over here in the convert int part, and now I will store and replace the previous number values. So for replacing the previous values, I will just do nothing but only reassign it to the number. Now if I print number, whether I was so complicatedly doing it, now it will be so easier that I'm getting the same list once again. And after this function call, this function values are not again been running. So it's just taking very less time, and I will just try to copy the previous part. Okay, it's difficult for me to copy it. So let me write it down. So 10, comma 25, okay, let it be, comma 69, 45, 4, 7, 85, 52, it's there, comma how many numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have got 10 numbers. Now we'll just do it. And you can see previously the number over here that we printed is something like this. Now, after this convert function, we have stored this return num value over here in the number, and the same list, we have changed it completely and we have converted it to the numbers. Now you can see this is what our main program is, and it looks so simple. It looks damn simple, only 4 lines, and that's it. And previously we used to have 10 to 15 lines still here. Okay, now what our next step is to sort. So for sorting, you can do this step directly, or else you can create a function. So I will do this step directly, as it takes only 1 line and creating functions will take many lines. So that is what we're going to do over here. We're going to sort the number and we're going to directly print it. Now, if you want to have many functions, means many, you can say that many type of functions over here, like taking the maximum numbers, taking the second maximum number. So you have many options. At that time, it's better to go with the functions. So now we don't have many options. So we have only one. We need to just print it. So we'll have the number over here, sorted number list, and then we'll just go for the number, and we'll have the number because we have the number list. So let's see if this gonna work. And I think I have, oh, I don't have the copy of it. Okay, so let me try. I got it, and I copied it. And I just pasted it and entered, and it's giving me 250. You can see we are getting the largest number exactly the same. Now our next question is something like, if the question changes that take 10 numbers from the user, and ask him the choice to do with the number. Okay, so now it's numbers. Now the choices are, for example, if the user presses 1, then what we need to do, we need to print the maximum value. If it's checking 2, then let it be that we can print the second maximum value. Okay. If it is 3, then we're gonna print all the even numbers. Print even numbers. Okay, even list. Maybe it is something like this, even list, or else you can put even numbers list. This is better. Now, if it is 4, the last option, if it is 4, then you're gonna print odd numbers list. So this is what we need to do. There are 4 options, so it is a little complex than the previous one. So we'll just comment this, and now we'll work on it. The first step is to take 10 numbers. You can see step by step, you need to see the program. You need to take 10 numbers from the user. So first of all, what we're going to do, let us take a number, numbers maybe, and I will just take an input, enter 10 numbers separated with spaces or else commas, anything, whatever you want. Dot split, and I will split it using comma, and this is done. Now after doing this, the second step that I need to do is to convert to integer. So again I have a conversion function convert int. This is my converting function. I will send the number to this part, numbers, and whatever value it returns, I will store it in this same function, numbers. So this is how I'm gonna write. Now it's telling that convert int is undefined variable because we haven't defined the function. So first of all, we'll define this function over here. Def convert int. Now we have defined this function over right over here, and now what we're gonna do, we're gonna just put this, and we're gonna write how to convert it. So we have sent numbers over here, the numbers list. Now we'll store this in numbers only, maybe. Whatever variable you choose, you can use it. And I will take a blank list over here to append the values. Now I will put a for I in numbers, and then I will just store it. That num dot append, in the blank list I'm storing the converted part, and it's int of I, because numbers is directly the list, and each and every individual value of the numbers is stored in I, and we're converting the values into integer type, and we're storing it in num. So, and we'll return the num over here. Return num, either in brackets you can return, or else directly, no issue with it. It's upon you, it's an optional part. So when you return num, now the values are again stored in numbers. Now in the numbers list, we have got our converted integer values. The second step is to ask him for the choice. So first of all, we'll take a variable of choice, and we'll ask him to input, enter your choice. It's so simple. If you want to give them the choice values, one for this, two for this, three for this, four for this, then also you can give it over here, right over here. Or else you can directly write it that enter a choice, no issue with it. So we'll have the dot split over here. No, not required, because there is only one choice. But remember, the choice is of coming into strings. If you want the choice as it is only one value, you can convert it directly over here into integer value. Okay, so it's your choice if you want to treat it as a character or you want to convert it as a number. It's upon you. Now on the choice, we're going to check it. First of all, we'll check if, first of all, we'll create the function definition so that it's become easier for us. So def, one function is for maximum value. Let's the function name is max value, and this is a parenthesis. And there is always an error if you don't write anything in this. So I'll just write a blank print statement so that it doesn't give an error. And similarly, I will define the other function step. And the second is the second maximum. So you can have the second max value. And this is a function. So I'm just defining the blank functions over here. Now there is another function that is a even list. Okay, so you can see at even list, and this is a function. So I will use a parenthesis and then a blank print statement for now only, because we are not writing anything inside it. We can eliminate it out when we are writing something inside that function. Def odd list, the way of writing that I'm doing right now is the camel case of writing. The first element, when you start a word, it will be in small letters. When the second word comes, the first letter of the word will be in caps lock, in capital, or in upper cases, whatever you want to say. So we have created these four functions. Okay, now our work is to do that. We're going to check the choices now. If choice equals to 1, if the choice is 1, then what we're going to do, we're going to do this maximum value. So for that maximum value, we have max value function over here. We're going to call that function max value function. That's it. If the choice is 1, you're going to call the max value function and we'll send the numbers over here. We're going to send the numbers list. That's it. Now, second thing is that elif choice equals to 2. Then what we're going to do, we're going to call the other function, that is second maximum value. Second maximum value. Okay, sorry, it's not this way of writing. Second max value, this function we're going to call, and we're going to pass the numbers array. Sorry, not array, it's a list. Now next, it's again elif, and inside that, if choice equals to 3, then we're going to say that we're going to call the even list function, and we're going to pass the numbers list inside. Then we're going to call the odd list numbers. Now we have called all the functions. Now if your user doesn't choose anything from 1 to 4, it chooses like 50 or 20, then what we're going to print? So we're going to print something like, if any other choice other than these, then we're going to print enter a correct choice, or choose a correct choice, whatever you want, you can write it. Correct choice value. That's it. So till there it is working now. Now we are sending each and every to the functions. Now over here in max value, we'll just put all the things in the max value. So first of all, we'll require to input the numbers right over here. And for printing the max value, what we'll just remove this print statement. We don't require this. For printing the max value, what we require, we're going to sort the numbers array first. Numbers dot sort, and after sorting it, the last element value is the max value. So print max value equals to, then a comma, and then we will just put numbers, and we'll just index the last value of it. So len of numbers, or else if you want to put the last value, you can do directly -1. That will also work. If you directly do -1, that does also means the last value. So rather than doing this, you can do this also. So this is done. So let us execute this code and check if the choice 1 is working perfectly. Okay. So if wants us to take the numbers, so let me copy the numbers from here, copied, and paste it. Now it's asking for the choice. Now we have only done for the first choice. We'll write 1 and press enter, and it's giving us that the maximum value is 250, and you can see over here the maximum value is 250. So our first function is working great. You can see how good the orientation, means you can see the structure of the program. It's so simple. You can see over here, if this is the choice, then maximum value will go on. If this is the choice, then second maximum value will go on. It's so simple. Now all the things that we're going to write over here in the functions. Okay. Now second maximum value, how to do this? We're going to do the same thing. We're going to copy this part, and we're going to paste this right over here, and we'll pass the numbers over here. And it's not -1, it will be -2, because we want the second maximum value. So second maximum value in a sorted array is the second last value of it. Now after doing this, we're going to go for the event list. Now how to go for the event list? We'll pass on the numbers. We have passed it, and we'll grab it over here, numbers, and inside this we'll delete this, and we'll check for I in numbers. We'll go for each and every numbers first. So once we get the numbers, we are storing the numbers in I, and now we'll check event list. Okay, so we require a list over here. So let us take a blank list L, where we'll store the number. Okay, let us take a blank list L where we'll store the number. Let me cross this out. Okay, So we'll just write down that if I mod 2, because if it is even, then it is divisible by 2, equals to 0. If the remainder is 0, then what we're going to do, we're going to append the list to the L dot append, and we're going to append the value of I. If this is not divisible, then we won't append the value of I. Now we missed a colon over here and we used a old state block of statements. Now it is good. It is good to go. So this is what we have done. We have checked that if it is uneven, then we'll just appending it to the list, and we'll print the list over here. Print even list equals to, and the list is comma L. This is the list. So this is done, and now it comes for the odd list. This the values, everything will be same. We'll just copy this and we'll just paste it over here, and we'll pass on the numbers right over here. And the only thing is that it is not equals to 0. There will be some remainder when it is odd, and you can write over here odd list, odd list. Then it is all good to go. So let us check if our code is working exactly what we were meant to work. So we'll just execute this and we'll just pass on the number. Okay, sorry, it's a mistake. Now we'll just try to copy the numbers. The cursor moves very fast in this, and we'll copy this set. Okay, now we'll paste it and we'll execute this. So it's asking for the choice. So maybe we are choosing for the even list. So let the choice be 3. So it's giving all the even numbers over here. You can see there are certain odd numbers. It's eliminating all the odd numbers and giving all the even numbers. Now we'll execute this code again and we'll check the odd numbers. Okay, so we just copy the list and paste it, and now the choice is 4 odd numbers, and it's giving all the odd numbers away. Now we are choosing something out of the range. Let us be just choices. We are entering the numbers and the choice is 50. So it's giving enter a correct choice value. That's it. So did you understood this entire part? Now if you want to repeat this again and again, you're going to put the entire this thing into a while loop, and everything is done then. The while loop will go on asking you the questions, the choices, and it will be repeating the things. So did you understood this, guys? Just let me know in the comment section. Understood. Okay, so I got a reply. Okay, most of you have understood this. Very good, guys. So practice this thing, because this is a little complicated that we have done till now. We have used the functions, we have used other for loops, and we have used the control structures. You can see that each and every project is based on these 3 parts: functions, loops, and control structure. Means all the control structures, if else, loops, and functions. This is what the entire thing is. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the session and you learned a lot of things. So practice this at home, and then if you have any queries, we'll just discuss in the next session. So till then, for today, we'll just see you. Bye bye. So thank you guys for being with us.